What's up, everybody? This is Jake here, and welcome to this episode of Just Jaking Around. Today, I am in Boyne City, exploring the city. It is kind of a windy day, and I don't have a microphone, so I apologize for that. This video will probably end up being like the last video was, where I just talk during the intro, and then the rest is all just video footage with music added to it. I tried to find an area where it's a little less windy for me to, actually film the intro without it drowning out my voice. But that goes without saying. I've been staying here in Boyne City now. I got here Friday, and I'm leaving this Friday. I'm camping at Whiting State Park right now, which is about a good 2, 3, maybe 4 miles from where I'm at. Because I have to literally go around there to basically the other side of the lake over there. I'm visiting my brother who lives in Charlevoix. I come up here every summer and visit with him, and we've had some crappy weather the last couple of days in this area, but today and tomorrow and the rest of the week's supposed to be decent, so I decided why not go and explore by myself in a city that I've never been to. That goes without saying. I've been to Boyne City a couple times on my travels up here to Charlevoix, or to the Charlevoix area, but this is literally my first time here by myself and actually getting to see the actual city itself, not just little, snippets of it. But that goes without saying. I hope you enjoyed today's video by yours truly. I figured I would start today's video off at the Veterans Memorial Park. If you're new to my channel, I know I just gained a new subscriber yesterday. I have a very special place in my heart for military and first responders. My grandpa was in the Air Force as a mechanic, although he didn't see action. He was just a mechanic. Me and my grandpa were extremely close, and I hold the military to high respects. So that goes without saying. Anytime I travel somewhere, whether it's in my local area, downstate where I live near Detroit, or up here if I'm going up north, or wherever I'm at, whatever state I'm going to, wherever I'm at, I always make an effort to stop at every time I see like a veterans memorial or first responders memorial. It's something I, kind of have to do for myself. That goes without saying. This is kind of a new one. So let's just walk around and see what's here. So this is the roll. It says the Roll of Honor from World War II. So there's names of, okay, what does this say here? It says 291,557 killed in action, 670,846 WIA, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Anyone can explain that to me that watches this. And then 30,314 missing in action, MIAs, from World War II. So these are just names of people who fought in the war. And then this is a bell. It says Morgan School Bell. This school bell was ordered by the school board member George Mills in 1885, the same year that Boyne City was incorporated as a village. The bell, weighing about 251 pounds, was installed in the Union School located at the corner of Park and Main Streets in the autumn of 1885, where it remained until the school was raised in 1908, or 1909. That's what it says, 1909, but it said 8. In 1958, the bell was moved to the Morgan Shaw School, formerly known as the 4th Ward School, remaining there until the school was closed in 1974. This bell was reportedly rung for 3 continuous hours in celebration of the end of both World War I and World War II. And that's the bell right there from the 1800s. More names of people from U.S. Army, World War II, Vietnam, Army. I believe these are all people who have, I don't know if these are people who have died or what. Some memorials that I've been to, they actually have plaques where it actually explains, oh, there's more names, okay, from the Wall of Honor, World War II. But like I was saying, sometimes you'll see like a plaque or whatever that kind of explains what it's all about or what the names are. But I'm not seeing anything that actually says what it is. So this is now World War I from 1914 till 1918. The war to end all wars. And then it also talks about the people who 116,516 killed in action, 234,300 WIA, whatever that means. Again, I don't know. If anyone can explain that to me, I would appreciate it. 4,500 missing in action. Hurston Ernest W. PVT, U.S. Army, killed in action. World War I. More names of people. And then you got the Korean War Memorial here. May 25th, 1950 to July 27th, 1953. You know, it really wasn't that long ago, was it? The Forgotten War, it says. 33,742 were killed in action. 103,284 WIA, whatever that means. Again, 8,215 missing in action. West Clarence Edward, ENS, US, and KIA killed in action. This is from the Korean War. It's hard to believe that the Korean War happened in the 50s. It really doesn't seem like it was that long ago. And of course, I was born in 1994, so I don't, know that much about it, but it really isn't that long ago. And then you got more names here. And then we go to the Vietnam War Memorial from 1964 until 1975. Now, I don't really like getting political on this YouTube channel, but when it comes to war in general, and all wars, I'm talking about all wars, from the wars we're in now, from the beginning, whatever. I do not agree with war. I never have, and I never will. I respect the military, obviously, like I said before, but I do not respect, well, I shouldn't say respect, but I don't agree with war. I just don't. But when it comes to wars that are controversial, the Vietnam War is actually one of the most controversial wars. A lot of people who served in that war don't really like to be thanked for serving in that war. A lot of them actually don't believe that they should have been there in the first place. There's a lot of people who believe that the U.S. should have never gotten involved with this. Now, again, like I said before, I was born in 1994, so again, I don't know that much about the Vietnam War. I know what I've, little snippets about it, but, I'm not an expert, if that makes sense. But this says the longest war. This was the longest war. And there were 58,209 people killed in action, 153,303 WIA, again, whatever that means, 2,063 missing in action. Fosluik, Gary 1LT Army KIA, Prince Humphrey JCLCPL US Marine Corps killed in action, and then Kerr Norman Theodore TSGT US Air Force killed in action in the Vietnam War. So I came upon this thing here. It's the boots with the rifle and the helmet on it. Now, again, I'm no expert when it comes to the military, although my grandpa served in the military. But from my understanding, that's usually a signal of like a fallen soldier. When a soldier is killed in action and they have like the funeral or whatever for the soldier, they usually lay out their boots and they put their rifle on it and then their helmet on top of that. But this says PFC Jackie Jack Lee Diner II. He gave his all fighting during Operation Enduring Freedom, B Troop 371 Cavalry, the 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum, New York. He received the Purple Heart and Bronze Star, Climb to Glory. And that's a picture of him right there. So this was from the most recent war that we were in. And then there's more right here. You got three more boots with the fake rifle and the helmets. And this says PFC Frederick Labrique KIA 1942 PVT Joseph Labrique, killed in action June 18th, 1944. Sergeant Lee Labrique, I think that's how you pronounce his name, killed in action November 27th, 1944. All of these people have the same last name, so I'm wondering if this was like, you know, like maybe siblings or something like that. Like maybe these three people were brothers and they all joined the military together. In some families, it's a tradition to join the military, but I'm assuming that's what that is, because that's what it looks like, because they all have the same last name. Or maybe a father and his two sons, who knows. But there's really nothing else explaining what it is. It's just that little plaque right there, as you can see. So these are all the flags of all the major branches of the U.S. military. So we got the Marines, the United States Marine Merchant, or Merchant Marine, which I believe is like the Coast Guard. I think that's the Coast Guard. And then United States Air Force, right up there, followed by the United States Space Force, which is new. And then you got the Coast Guard. So, okay, so I'm a little confused here, because that one says Merchant Marine and then that one says Coast Guard. So I don't know. What is the Merchant Marine? Can anyone explain that to me? If anyone is watching this video and knows more about military, what is the Merchant Marine? United States Merchant Marine. I don't know what that is. And then you got the POWMIA flag with the American flag. And there you go. All the flags of the major branches of the U.S. military. So this is really, really cool. This is a cannon. And it says Rodman and 8-inch gun. Muzzle reads 42 S CLS MCM and CO 1865, 8,465 pounds. Foundry number on right rim base reads 3A6. Parent company is Reading Ironworks, Reading, Pennsylvania. Scott Foundry, owner Safer McManus and Company. And it says here, these guns were used in coastal fortifications, whatever that says, from 1861 to 1871. Model number, I'm not even going to read that. I'll just show it to you. Weight is 8,465 pounds. It's got a 10-pound charge, shot, 65-pound shot, and the shells that used to shoot out of there, the cannon shells, weighed 50 pounds, and it could go up to 3,873 yards or 2.2 miles 30 degrees out, and it can operate in a 30-degree elevation. So if you shot this, and this is capable of shooting 2 miles, which is really, really interesting. It required 8 men to load and to fire. It was made in 1865. Elevation mechanism pre-2, 1861, had ratchets, later had sockets. So there you go. Three-inch anti-tank gun in service in 1943, used by the U.S. Army in World War II. 250 and produced 250 in 1942 and 2,500 by 1944. It weighs 4,872 pounds. It's 23.29 feet, 76.2585R, whatever that means. It's the shell. The caliber is a 3-inch caliber, breeches horizontal block, recoil is hydropneumatic. I don't know how to pronounce that name, I apologize. Carriage, split trail, elevation 5 to plus 30 degrees. Traverse 45 degrees, rate of fire 12 rounds per minute. It can shoot 12 rounds per minute, and it can reach up to 9.13 miles. This was used by the 823rd TD 30th Infantry Division in the Battle of the Bulge, in the German counterattack on Mortain, and in the defense of St. Barthélemy, where they destroyed 14 tanks and many vehicles. And this, my friends, is the tank, which is really, really, really cool. Is this Boyne City or Amsterdam? There's this canal right here that runs from here all the way into Lake Charlevoix, which is right over there. And the reason why I brought up the whole reference when it comes to Amsterdam is that in Amsterdam and in the Netherlands and stuff, they have like little canals like this and stuff with like bridges and everything. And look at the brickwork on this. It looks like something like out of a castle or something like that, which is really cool. Anyways, I found a place to lock my bike up over here, so I'm gonna go off on foot for a little while and explore this little park that I just found. The last river draw. Dense stands of white pine lured lumbermen to northern Michigan. In the 1860s, lumber cruisers acquired vast tracts of land for companies that clear out the heavy forested north during the next 5 decades. And then it goes on to say lumberjacks harvested white jack and Norway pine trees in the winter. The following spring, river rats used pike poles guided the logs down the rivers and loaded onto boats moored on Pine Lake, or Lake Charlevoix. Loggers bought their own timber to Boyne City to be processed by the White Lumber Company. The last river draw symbolizes the strengths and hardships of men who carved a life from the great northern woodlands. Thanks to the Boyne City Main Street Program, MEDC, Robert White, which is a descendant of Robert Villers White, and donations from individuals of proud Boyne City's heritage: Martha Selfridge, sculptor; Walter Barkley, fabricator; Andre Penu, engineer; Michigan Art Castings, MEDC, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And they actually have a statue of that very thing. Now you can actually walk out from here, and there, which I did, and it's a little slippery, and I have my phone, and I don't want to, I'm about 4.5 hours away from where I live, so I don't want to risk dropping my phone in the water. You can get a better angle over there where I was, and that's actually, my bike is actually parked right there. Okay, so this says, dance stands of white pine lured lumbermen to northern Michigan. This is called the Last River Draw. In the 1860s, lumber cruisers acquired vast tracts of land for companies that clear-cut the heavily forested north during the next 5 decades. Lumberjacks harvested white, jack, and Norway pine trees in the winter. The following spring, river rats using pike poles guided the logs down the rivers to be loaded onto boats moored by Pine Lake, or Lake Charlevoix. Loggers bought their own timber to Boyne City to be processed by the White Lumber Company. The Last River Draw symbolizes the strengths and hardships of men who carved a life from the great northern woodlands, thanks to Boyne City Main Street Program, MEDC, also known as the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Oh boy, that's a lot to read. Robert White, descendant of Robert Villers White, and donations from individuals proud of Boyne City's heritage: Martha Selfridge, sculptor; Walter Barkley, fabricator; and Andre Penu, engineer, Michigan Art Castings. And this is what it looks like. And they actually have the sculpture right there. Now again, this is a canal that leads all the way into Lake Charlevoix, which is right over there. And it's definitely giving me Amsterdam vibes for sure, or European vibes, if that makes sense. It's definitely something out of that you would see, like, I don't even know. I'm just talking. Now, I should probably point out that I've never been to Europe. The only country that I've ever traveled to outside of the US is Canada, which I love. But look at all this. And then go down here, and this takes you right to the water's edge. Look at that. And you got another memorial in loving memory of Bill Grace, December 23rd, 2013. The song has stopped, but the melody lingers on. June 17th, 1987. What a beautiful day it's turning out to be. Oh look, more steps. I seriously should have brought my swimsuit. I was thinking about packing it in my book bag that I take with me when I go places. I was seriously thinking about it, but I figured it was going to be way too cold. But maybe out on Lake Charlevoix it's a little chilly, but this thing here, and this is beautiful. Unfortunately, all the water sources near my place, if you're new to my channel, you'll know that I live near a park system called Hines Park, which is owned by Wayne County Parks, or that's technically what it's called, Wayne County Parks now. And the Rouge River runs in those lake sources, like Newburgh Lake and stuff like that. So going swimming in something like this at Hines Park is, or even putting your feet in, is probably not a good idea because it is really polluted. But this water looks very, very clean. Not to say it is, but it does look really clean. It looks a lot cleaner than the lakes and river sources by my place, that's for sure. Well, that's the video for today. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. In the meantime, I am Jake from State Farm, and I will see you on the next one.